Agenda item number 8, which is Taupo District Performance Report to the 30th of June 2011, which of course is the end of that financial year. So Mr. Manhennett, or who wants to start? Mr. McLeod? Ms. McLeod?
Me in this case, because this is the end of the financial year, you don't have a report from Mr. Manhennett. That'll come back to you in your annual report, along with your full statements of service performance. So all we've done for this month is simply let you know where we're up to in terms of the business plan highlights for the end of the financial year, and you'll see there the summary on page 8 bar 1, and then the detail in pages 8 bar 2 through to 8 bar 4. So happy to take any questions on those.
Okay, we'll go through it page by page. If that's anything on page 8 bar 1. Nothing. Okay, moving round to 8 bar 2. Yep, Councillor Mincher.
Hillary's left the room, but to do with the district plan changes that we're working on, when would, if it goes through all the approvals and hearings, things, when would that actually become the new zoning requirements, Gareth? Is that, do we have a date we're working towards?
Yes, we're looking at early in the new year, so I think it's about February by the time it goes through that process, pending any appeals. So there is the ability for people to appeal that to the Environment Court, which could take 12 months or more to resolve, but assuming no appeals, you'd be around the February.
Appeals, it would be a 12-month delay.
Well, depending on when if you can mediate out or negotiate out of them. But from the moment that the council makes a decision, you can start to have weight to those provisions. So it's not full effect, but you can start to have weight to them in your resource consent applications and the like.
And early submission feedback will sort of set more of a timeline, won't it, depending on what sort of submissions you get back on it? Okay.
Turangi Southern, I believe, is moving forward. There was a meeting yesterday with this, wasn't there?
We did basically what we've done is do a stock take of where we're at in terms of the Southern Structure Plan work. Now so we've had a draft report prepared. Some tweaks are being made to that report, and that'll come back to you via the Turangi Community Board, hopefully at the August Council meeting. And we'll look at sort of the where to from here at that point.
Okay, nothing further on 8 bar 2, 8 bar 3. Nothing. 8 bar 4.
Yeah, Chairman, just read Gareth, just with the regional council consents. How come the applications have been behind time? Is it, and then you've got at the bottom there that the consent to renew the Lake Terrace water take is outside the scope. I didn't quite understand that comment.
As I understand it, the consents, they're still in the processing stage of Waikato Regional Council, so they haven't met our internal milestone, which means that's gone to
so
read.
It's not us, it's them more so?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a consent application to the Regional Council. The renew the water take, the Lake Terrace water take is outside the scope. There's a separate consent application for the Lake Terrace water take for the existing water take, and so that's outside of the scope of that bigger resource consent. A bit confusing the way it's worded there. Sorry.
Why do we have to get a consent for something we're already doing?
Regional Council consents only last for 30 years, or less if determined.
Are we at the end of a 30-year span here or something?
Or less if dictated by the consent, so they can grant it for any length of time, or we may be in certain circumstances we become at the end of our start to exceed our volume, so we need to apply for a greater take. In these cases, for the water consents, they're all at the end of their terms. They're all coming up over the next 5 years.
That's a rubber stamp process. All right, nothing further from anybody? Again, there's a suggested resolution for this agenda item number 8 on the first page. So could I have a mover, please? Move, Councillor Kirk. Seconder, Councillor Truman. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Meeting dates for August 2011. Are there any additions, deletions, or anything to this suggested schedule here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with the Rugby World Cup, we've decided to split, since there was only going to be one more meeting before the actual cup starts. We decided to split those and have one on the, I think it was the 8th of August or 18th. Yeah, 18th of August, and then another one on September the 1st.
So you've got two before kick-off.
Yeah, they're 2 Thursdays, 18th 10 a.m. and Thursday, depending on the agenda, whether we need to, but we felt as though we needed to, especially with, as I said, you know, the South Africans and the Irish just coming back with what they're allowing us to do. So that can be crossed off there, the 25th, and just put the 18th and the 1st of September.
So sometime a little bit closer time and everything is really nailed down tight. Email out to all councillors with the programs, what's happening, all that sort of thing.
Well, I'd like to actually do a little bit of a workshop maybe after this one to full council, just to let them know exactly what's going to be, make them fully aware.
You want to set a date for that? In September or in August?
I know it'll be probably in September later on, but I'd like to have that first meeting on the 18th of September first, just to nail down some other stuff. And then,
okay, and then you can bring all councillors up to speed before kick-off, because there is going to be a lot happening in that period around the whole district with Opataka, Hatapi, fan zones, official welcomes and things. Councillor Anderson?
I've just got a question around the funding for the Rugby World Cup, and in particular the $30,000 here that's earmarked for team hospitality.
This agenda item is for meeting dates.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Should have brought it up probably. We can go back to it. We'll get rid of this meeting dates if you want to go back to it. I'm happy to go back to it as chairperson. I can do that, but it probably should have come up out of matters arising after the minutes received. Is that right? But I will allow that to come back up. We'll finish off the agenda.
Okay.
So meeting date. Any more, please?
Just one point of clarification. We're looking at potentially putting in a workshop on the Southern Structure Plan for Turangi-Tongariro Community Board on the same day as their meeting on the 9th. We're waiting to settle the dates down at the moment, so just giving a heads up that some dates there will potentially change. Some times there will potentially change.
They often do. We accept that, as long as the community board's prepared to accept that. Mr. Manhattan, was that a finger?
Yes. Through the chair, do councillors have an appetite for a workshop on council property assets?
Can you extrapolate on that a little bit?
We have a variety of or range of assets in the council books which are not restricted to roading assets or reserves, or assets of that nature, that we have different strategies in respect of, whether we are looking at them for potential development sites, for sale, for other purposes, and a number of councillors have approached me individually and asked questions in that regard, and I wondered whether we're getting close to the situation of needing a workshop where we work through each of these assets and bring each councillor up to speed.
So you're not talking about wastewater plants and things like that.
No, talking about investment assets,
and identifying whether we should be selling them, keeping them, renting them, or being prudent business people with district council assets is what you're referring to. Councillor Kirk?
Yes, I'd be very interested in a workshop of that nature.
So it would be a district.
Definitely.
Okay, that's cool. Is everybody happy for that? So where do you want to fit that date, and have you got a suggestion?
Well, later in August is a possibility.
Late in August?
Yes.
What workshop are you having before the next council meeting? Okay, so it won't be that day. So late in August. Any suggestions? Rugby World Cup's on the 25th, and it's been cancelled because it's been moved. Not cancelled, it's been moved. How about that Thursday, 25th of August? How does that? How long would you want?
A couple of hours. Yeah.
Why don't we bring that forward to 9 a.m. and get these things over and done with?
Okay.
What about Thursday 9? Does that suit you, Councillor Truman? You've got to come in from Mangakino. He's got to come from Turangi. Is it 9 o'clock start all right with you guys?
9:30 would be better.
9:30. Okay, would give us a bit of time. How about that? Thursday 25 August 9:30. Suit everybody? Councillor Kirk?
And Mr Mayor, is that also would be the date that councillors would have their monthly informal meeting?
Is that down for one of our dream sessions, is it? Is that a dream session? No?
Closed workshop.
18th,
Oh, right, beg your
week
pardon.
before.
Okay, no.
After the Rugby
Not.
World
Okay, does that suit you?
As long, yes, but it would need to be a closed workshop because some of it would be commercially sensitive.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so that would be a closed workshop for obvious reasons, sensitivities.
After that might be an appropriate time that I give a brief on the Rugby World Cup. That'd
This is
suit.
August. You said September. You wanted.
Oh, is this August?
This is August.
No, this is August I wanted.
You mean 18th of August before?
Oh, you want to do? Okay.
So it's after the 18th. So can I fit that in after
How long
that?
would you need?
I'd only need half an hour just to brief and do a presentation with
9:30,
Karen.
So we should be finished by 12:30 later, shouldn't we? Okay, that's cool. So that will continue on with presentation from Councillor Downard to information.
And Karen.
For,
And Karen.
No, Karen, you're
my
the-
right wing.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to have the engine room. Where's Karen? Okay, so that being sorted, there's a suggested resolution here be received. A mover, please. I'll move. Councillor Hickling, second. All in favour.